Welcome to SOLASTA Lost Valley DLC subclasses overview, you bastards. In this video I'll go through subclasses that are newly introduced, and I'm just gonna go quickly through them, nothing special. First subclass is for Barbarian, called Path of the Claw. Really not much to say here besides that you get Draconic Wrath Conal spell that is used as free action. It's not that especially good. It also doesn't have great special effects, as it seems like you're always breathing fire, never mind the element that you are actually associated with. More beneficial things are Dragon Scales, which grant you +1 bonus to armor class and resistance to the damage type of your Draconic Ancestor, and also at level 10 you get Dragon's Blessing. While raging, your melee weapon attacks deal an additional 1d8 elemental damage. Nothing special about this class, a couple of boosts here and there. I've played with it through the Lost Valley DLC and it is good. Nothing else needs to be said. Now we go to Cleric Mischief. Also one of the subclasses that I've played through in my Lost Valley DLC playthrough. This one is more focused on sneaking about, and it can be utilized with melee and ranged playstyles. We have spells that are mostly crowd control, and also crowd control in a way that we control the enemies so that they can fight between themselves through Charm Person, Hypnotic Pattern, Confusion, Dominate Person, Hold Monster, and so on. Very useful. But more importantly, you get some invisibility spells, proficiency with stealth and deception. Borrowed luck is decent to reroll saving throws, but what is the best probably thing about this all is Strike of Chaos. Strike of Chaos adds more damage, which is increased after every 3 levels, and it also puts debuff on an enemy or potentially a buff. Buff can be advantage on attack rolls, debuffs can be disadvantage on attack rolls, blinded, restrained, paralyzed, or none. This is really good because it can do a lot of additional damage. I've played this class with a ranged character, and I can tell you that it's a great ranged character with debuff spells, good as a side healer too, and it also has things like Elusive Target, where you get bone benefits of dodging and disengaging if you're hit in melee, which also really fits well in ranged team, because you can get away and then shoot from afar if someone gets up in your area. Another class that I've played with, another subclass that I played with is Circle of Balance Druid. Circle of Balance Druid is mostly healer, for the lack of better explanation. This is great to use as a primary healer, with also a couple of things like summon animals, your typical offensive druid spells, defensive druid spells, and so on. So you get your defensive and offensive druid spells next to healing focus, and I think this is really good class to have in your party, because it can do pretty much everything, and you can also go into wild shape whenever you want. Now we go into fighter and martial archetypes. Commander is the new subclass, basically a leader of sorts that is gonna buff your team. You have coordinated defense, when you can forgo one of your attacks to grant an ally within 3 cells of you dodge until the start of your next turn. You can use also Rising Shout to get all allies within 3 cells of you advantage on their next attack, which is really good if you have many melee fighters around you and you are focusing on one enemy, probably boss or some sorts of that. I think this is really good setup for that. This is overall really good martial class that can boost other melee focused combatants. Now we go to Paladin and Oath of Judgment, another subclass I've used in my Lost Valley DLC playthrough. Honestly, nothing that special about it. One great thing is that you get haste with this Paladin. Another great thing is that you get Aura of Righteousness at level 7, meaning that everyone around you in a 2-cell wide aura gets additional bonus damage. Weight of Justice and Purge Corruption are so, nothing really special there. Although Weight of Justice can be used against one really tough enemy if you want to focus them down, because if you manage to put Restrained on an enemy, everyone attacking that particular enemy gets advantage. Ranger archetype Swift Blade is really powerful dual wielding focused class that gets 2 bonus to AC, that gets battle focus, which means that it does 2d8 weapon damage of the weapon's damage type until the start of your next turn for every melee weapon attack. That means we can do insane amount of additional damage with each melee strike until the end of the turn. With extra attack you get at level 11. You can get up to 5 attacks in one turn with battle focus additional damage for each attack. Now this is extremely powerful, and this is why Swift Blade is one of the best subclasses that have been introduced in Lost Valley DLC. Roguish archetype called Hoodlum is more of a tanky version of rogue. You gain martial proficiency. You gain proficiency with martial weapons, medium armor, and shield. You can also sneak attack with non-finesse melee weapons. This is really good if you wanna create a rogue slash tank that still can do sneak attack damage, but has probably more survivability and also can wield a shield. I think this is really nice addition that can definitely change rogue playstyle quite a bit. And also when you hit an enemy with a sneak attack after level 9, they have disadvantage on attacks made against you until the start of your next turn, which is really bloody good, because that even increases further your tank ability. Sorcerer new thing is Haunted Soul. Basically you get Haunted Soul origin spells like Inflict Wound, Ray of Enfeeblement, Fear, Phantasmal Killer, Mind Twist. Spirit Visage is good for putting fear on enemies, but it's less useful on highest difficulty because of all the benefits that enemies get through saving throws, but you can reduce that in options. Vengeful Spirits is great because you create a cell 3x3 that deals necrotic damage to everything in it. Any opponent that enters the area for the first time or starts its turn there takes damage. Really good for creating those nice trap situations where you want enemies coming from one side and they will all enter this Vengeful Spirit domain where they will take damage. Last one we have Wizard Court Mage. Now this is really cool. I haven't played with it, but it's quite simple to explain. You get Spell Shield. You can use an action to create a powerful shield around yourself and an ally you can see within 6 cells of you. This Spell Shield grants both of you temporary hit points equal to 5 times your level. You can use this power twice. This is really good to buff your bastards around you, and you get always prepared. You gain proficiency with shields, so this is another tankier subclass, and this can also help with making mages more tankier while also making them a competent spellcaster. Really cool thing. You also get counterspell mastery, which helps your counterspell and debuffs enemies counterspell against you. Quite a nice support slash tank slash caster in one. Anyway, those would be all the subclasses that have been added in Lost Valley DLC. Thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed the video, and see you soon.